Hi, I'm Dr. Carmen Tafolla. I'm the Poet Laureate of the City of San Antonio, and I'd like to read an excerpt from a book called Curandera, which was banned in Tucson. I'd like to read it for the banned book readout 2012. The poem is called Voyage. I was the fourth ship, behind Niña Pinta Santa Maria, lost at sea while watching a seagull, following the wind in sunset skies while the others set their charts. I was the fourth ship, breathing in salt and flying with clouds, sailing moon breezes and star vision nights, rolling into the wave and savoring its lull, while the others pointed their prows. I was the fourth ship, playfully in love with the sea, eternally entwined with the sky, forever vowed to my voyage, while the others shouted, land.
What do children and young people feel when they're just beginning to discover who they are, to explore and to create who they are, as they scan the mirrors of our society to see their reflection, and they see nothing? What happens when you shout and wave and jump and glare into the mirror and shake the mirror and no one looks back at you? When you discover that you are invisible? And then one day, there's something there in the mirror. You see it. You know there's something. You can tell there's something there, and you go running up to it to look at it up close. And it's unrecognizable to you. It's something grotesque or insignificant, trivial, caricatured, a prop to the main action, ugly, unimportant. And you say, that's not me? I don't look like that? This is what it's like for students from the non-dominant cultures to not have their literature and their legacy affirmed. I know because this is my story. I was raised in South Texas schools in a time period when educational practice was to mention only the histories, cultures, and contributions of the dominant white culture, and when even the speaking of a word in our native language was cause for physical and emotional punishment, and a stinging reminder that this evil act of speaking even one word in our mother tongue was against state law. These were children that were being victimized by this situation. The result wasn't that we embraced the English language and the history of the dominant culture blindly and enthusiastically and left behind our Spanish and our evil Mexican past, although a few Diotacos did. But the result was that we pushed away from that experience, from that reality which we knew was not reality. Some of us dropped out, rebelled, sometimes all the way to prisons. And it created a difficult situation, a situation where many of us did not achieve our dreams, did not continue in education. I'm going to read to you one of the dangers of having a poet on a panel is that they can't get away. They always have to sneak in a poem someplace. I'm going to read to you one of the poems from the banned book Curandera, which was published 30 years ago, which was used in the Tucson curriculum by brave Tucson teachers for 30 years. Teachers who said, I love this, my kids are going to love this, who started to get the kids involved in school because they were learning about a part of their history that somehow made things fall into place and click, and they said, I get it. Now I understand. Now I understand why I was feeling uncomfortable about these things. And the teachers were starting to use this way before the different teachers started to organize it into a massive, exemplary K-12 curriculum. It's called And When I Dream Dreams, and it describes the time period I grew up in. When I dream dreams, I dream of you, Rhodes Junior School, and the lockers of our minds that were always jammed stuck, or that always hung open and would never close, no matter how hard you tried. We messed up the looks of the place. and wouldn't be neat and organized and look like we were supposed to look and lock up like we were supposed to lock? Yeah, that's right. I dream of you, degrees later, and from both sides of the desk, my dreams take place in your two-way halls. Hall guards from among us, human traffic markers, bumps on the road between the lanes to say when we were supposed to say where to turn left, where right, and how to get where you were going. You never get to high school speaking Spanish, I was told. Nice of them, they thought, to not report me. Breaking state law, school law, speaking dirty, speaking Spanish. And our tongues couldn't lump it and do what they were supposed to do, so instead I reminded others to button buttons and tuck shirt tails in. I never graduated to a cafeteria guard. Who knows how they were picked? We thought it had something to do with the FBI, or maybe the principal's office. So we got frisked. Boys in one line, girls in another. Twice every day, entering lunch and leaving. Check, no knives on the boys. Check, no dangerous weapons on the girls, like mirrors, perfume bottles, deodorant bottles, or teased hair. Ma'am, I asked, how come we can't have teased hair? Because if you get into a fight, you're going to reach into your hair, pull out the knife, and stab somebody. Oh, I said. Ma'am, how come we can't have mirrors in our purses? Oh, because if you get into a fight, you're going to take that mirror, break it, and slash somebody. Oh, I said. And we learned a lot in junior high. So we wandered the halls, cool chuca style, no se sale, and unawares, never knowing other junior highs were never frisked, never knowing what the teachers said in the teacher's lounge, never knowing we were supposed to be the toughest junior high in town. And the lockers of our minds are now assigned to other minds, carry other books, follow other rules, silence other tongues, go to other schools, schools of Vietnam, schools of cheap cafe, schools of dropout droppings, prison pains, and cop cars, bulleted brains. Marcelino thought the only way to finance college was the Air Force, GI Bill, and good pay. War looked easy compared to here. Took his chances on a college education. Took his pay on a shot-down helicopter in a brown-skinned Nam with the Pledge of Allegiance in his mind he had memorized through Spanish-speaking teeth. As a hall guard, he was considered clean-cut. Now, cut, clean down, in a hospital ward, paralyzed below the lips, that still speak Spanish, slowly. Celia thought no one had the right to tell her what to do. 1 year out of junior high, she bitterly bore her second pregnancy, stabbed forks onto cafe tables, and slushed coffee through the crowd 16 hours a day, and she was 15 and still fighting to say, I have a right to be me. And Lalo, with a mind that could write in his sleep, growing epics from eyes that could dream, now writes only the same story over and over until the day that it's all over, as he's frisked, and he's frisked, and he's frisked, and they keep finding nothing. And even when he's out, his mind is always in prison. Like Lupe's mind that peels potatoes and chops repollo and wishes its boredom was less than the ants on the hill, and never learned to read because the words were in English and she was in Spanish. I wonder what we would do, Rhodes Junior School, if we had all those emblems of you stamped on our lives with a big red R, like the letter sweaters we could never afford to buy. I keep my honorary junior school diploma from you right next to the BA, MA, etc. to a PhD because it means I graduated from you. And when I dream dreams, how I wish my dreams had graduated too.